Well, hello again. Today is an interesting day in the Netherlands. We have this, what we call the Remembrance Day. Herdenking stuff. It is started just after the Second World War, remembering the many soldiers of the Allied forces who lost their lives during our liberation of the Nazis. In time, it did change, of course. They decided, you know what, there were also a lot of civilians who lost their lives of all kind of ethnic backgrounds. Due to the circumstance, but also the scars that the Second World War left all over Europe. We nowadays remember a lot of victims, either military, either civilian. Personally, I've never been in a war. All I've seen about the war is on television. Even the wars that were raging during when I grew up, or even the wars who are currently going, it's all on telly. It's really hard for me to imagine pain and sorrow it gives. All I can remember is the pain and sorrow it has brought to my grandparents. Especially one of my grandmothers. She would speak about the war. I grew up with it, and she was one of the many victims and witnesses of the bombing of Rotterdam. She lived in a city called Schiedam, just next to it. And she would tell about it. She would tell about the bombing. She would tell about the occupation of the Nazi regime in the Netherlands. She would tell about the Allied forces coming in, but also the resistance before the Allied forces arrived. She knew things about it. I can't go into details. I don't really remember all the details either, but I was too young when she told me about it. But what I do remember is the pain, is the sorrow, and it's the many mental scars it has left on her, surviving the war during her teenage years. I am glad that she could enjoy her life, the rest of her life, in freedom, in peace, seeing that we took care of each other, even though it sometimes looks like as if we don't anymore. But it has become a tradition to remember. At 8 o'clock this evening, the whole of Netherlands will be standing still for 2 minutes long, remembering all the losses from the past and present, both military and civilian. You can think about it as much as you want and have your opinion about it, but I still think it's important just to remember the many victims and still of that and the current horrific wars. Like they say in the UK about victims and the losses of their forces, lest we forget. And that is what I try to do as well. I do not wish to forget, even though I've never been in a war. I have not sustained the suffer. But I do respect the fact of the many people who lost their lives to make it possible for me to live up in peace for so many years. So for that, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.